right, can we begin with your first name, last name, and how you're related to the person, to the victim?
Yes, I am Nicole Calamita, and I am here for Troy Hodge. He was my fiance. We were together for 20 years. This is his daughter, Tamara Hodge. On June 16th, 2019, Father's Day, Troy had stopped by his mother's house to check on her, and she noticed he wasn't acting himself, so she dialed 911, and in our city, 911 goes to a certain place depending where you're calling from, your home phone or your cell phone. Well, Troy had as well called 911. He thought something was happening to his mother. The police came, and the two officers there quickly escalated a situation into him being murdered. His death was ruled a homicide, and he had over 100 marks on his body, blunt force trauma to his entire body. There was an officer that stood on his neck for 85 seconds. The whole incident went for about 15 to 20 minutes, him being hogtied and in a prone position. The reason that Attorney General from New York State, Letitia James, didn't charge them is because she said the officer that was on his neck said she didn't have weight on his neck, but his face was mutilated. And in the way the New York State works is that the Buffalo, New York office did it, and the investigation, and they told me certain things throughout the investigation that took 18 months, no, actually 21 months, and then wrote different in the report. Basically, we're still fighting it. The officers still aren't on the road after over 2 years. And I just want this case reopened, and I want somebody to really look at it, because there were two statements that were hidden by two of the officers. There was a total of about 8 officers there, and 4 were involved, and 1 got fired for unrelated to Troy's case.
Do you remember the name of the officers, the main officers?
Yes.
Can you tell us the names so we have them on record?
Yes, the 2 main officers was Officer Marissa Bonito and Officer Daniel Barancata. And Marissa Bonita did get fired, like I said, for unrelated issues.
Okay, can you tell me a little bit about Troy? Who was he as a person?
Oh God, she was his life. And she was his only child, but I also had 2 kids when we met, and he helped raise them. He just was a family man. He loved to grill and fish, and he just really loved his family. Like, he kept to himself all the time. Like I said, he had never been in trouble. And I'm not against all police, I'm just against police brutality. You know, this is very hard to... We have a lot of family members that are police officers, so I don't say F all the police. It's not that. It's let's get the people that are doing the wrong out. And, that's about it.
Okay, can you tell me maybe, like, what is the thing that we could do to honor Troy's legacy, person? What can we do? What do you hope to get?
Word.
Yeah.
Spread the word. Let everyone know what happened to him. Literally.
Yeah.
Are there any other comments that you would like to let us know, let the people know?
I just don't understand why this happens to all these people, and in Troy's case specifically, because I know his case so well, that if we were to do this to somebody, we would be under the jail. So why is it okay for them to do that when they're there to protect and serve? If, as being a nurse, I would lose my license in the state of New York if I negligently killed somebody. So why are they not losing their license? Mm-hmm. It's not right, it's not fair, and it has to be fair across the board, because what they're going to continue to do is this, because they keep getting away with it. All they have to say is, oh, somebody had a weapon. like in Troy's case. But and then the Attorney General said, oh, Troy didn't have one. He had a pocket knife folded up in his pocket. His mom watched the whole entire incident. In the same driveway he was brought home as a baby is the same driveway he died, and screamed and begged for the police not to kill him. And his mom said, is my son dead? They said no. And then the one officer said, I'll break your fucking fingers, you fuck, sorry. And then they said, did he shit on himself? Well, that's a sign of death. Right. Throw his ass up on the gurney.
He was limp, you can see it in the video.
And 6 minutes he laid there, and they didn't even try to resuscitate him. But then none of their cams were on.
Yeah.
None of their cams were on.
Of course not.
Of course not.
And
until they get in the ambulance to say, oh, he came at me with a knife. He came at me with a knife. Then it goes off because I go to the hospital, not knowing what happened because I was at work. And I talked to the officer. That's not on camera. But when he comes to question me and me not knowing what was going on, I answer the questions truthfully because that's what we do. And that was on record as well. So if it wasn't for the sheriffs that showed up, we would have never got footage. And I am so thankful. I have not watched the footage, either has she, and it's best for us not to.
But people we know have, and it's horrible, so.
It's very horrible. Grown men crying.
Literally.
And say, please don't ever watch it, because he was screaming for both of us too.
Yeah.
So, and Troy, all he ever did was, care about us and making sure we were okay. And if this can happen to Troy, it can happen to anybody. I promise that, because Troy really minded his business. He didn't bother anybody. So,
okay.
I just hope something changes.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank
you for being here today and doing this with us, this interview.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.